I think the term environmental education is a misnomer because there is nothing that exists outside the environment. All education is environmental education. So if you're educating someone, you're either helping them make a choice that is for the environment or against the environment. And that's the only way. We have a 5-hectare mixed-use property located just outside of Whanganui, and we've been here for 6.5 years.
Our initial vision was a giant market garden and a house cow, and 6.5 years later, we couldn't be any further away from that.
Through our actions in the education system in New Zealand, we are teaching kids that they're powerless. Wear this uniform, show up at this time, go to this school, mandated. These are the classes you have to take, these are the levels you have to achieve. And we're teaching them that they have no control over their life. And so then we're surprised when teenage depression rates are so high, when we've taken all of their power away from them. We had this idea for the eco school before we actually were on the farm, and that kind of grew out of this desire. Both of us are teachers. We met teaching at a school, and we both had this desire to educate and to really create a space where people could learn to be problem solvers, creative problem solvers, in an environmental capacity.
Yeah, I really like when Dani brings groups here, children and caregivers. She says, welcome to our learning farm. She calls it a learning farm.
And welcome the day. Good morning, dear earth. Good morning. Morena tata. It's bright and early in the morning today. Hei aha te rā o tēnei rā. Hei aha te rā. What's the day today? Tuesday. Hei aha te kupu Māori mo Tuesday. Rā tū. Rā tū. Forest schooling is a pedagogy, just like other kinds of education. So there's Steiner or Waldorf pedagogy, and there's forest schooling. Ka haere mato ki te ngahiri. Let's go to the forest. Three things that make up a forest school is commitment to risk. So we like kids to take risk. We think that physical risk is associated with learning and that's a good thing. And so if we can teach kids to be confident risk takers, then they will also be taking academic risks. Immersion in nature, hopefully the same spot in nature so they become connected to a place, and also child-led learning. So we want the kids to be in charge of their own learning. We want them to become curious, amazing problem solvers, and the way to do that is to inspire them to take hold and to recognize themselves as capable learners. Good work, you guys. You are such a good kaitiaki of our campsite. Appreciate that. The environmental education at Forest School happens as an underlay of what's happening overall. So the whole program is environmental education. One, because we're outside, and when you are outside all day, you recognize weather patterns, you recognize what's happening in the environment around you. We actively promote kaitiaki-tonga as part of our program of a stewardship of the earth. You gonna get a few more pieces to use? Look for the grandmas. That one a grandma? Okay, good one then. We were able to really see the difference in the kids' learning and behavior when they were at Forest School versus not. And what we noticed was that their attendance was much higher when they had Forest School just one day a week. Their attendance at Forest School was always on. Right? We had almost 100% attendance at Forest School. In terms of their behavior, we had almost no incidences at Forest School, and then for the rest of the week, their behavior was much better too. So we're noticing that there's a spill-on effect, that if we give them a day and let them feel like they're capable, competent learners, then that actually changes their attitude for the rest of the week and how they engage in the classroom. Once upon a time, there was a boy. He was a curious boy. He was a mischievous boy. And his name was Maui. Children in my class might not ever have a Māori teacher through their whole schooling experience. So if I have learned a little bit and I can pass it on in a way that is authentic, that I've checked through with people, is this a cool story to tell? Is this am I telling the story correctly? Am I using this word correctly? And yeah, it does give a good connection to place. I think it's imperative to use Indigenous knowledge. We're here in this place that was inhabited by many people before us. teachers started asking, how did you learn how to do this? And for me, my background comes from outdoor ed and education, but there are ways that we can show people how to do this to make it easier for them if they want to bring kids into nature.
We don't teach farming, we teach holistic thinking. What I want them to leave with is that they go in the world and they see interconnectedness. Live your life as if you will be alive for 100 years and you'll die tomorrow.